Hello and welcome to a new episode of Real Talk. I'm your host, digital executive producer Tannock Blair, and with me is my co-host, as always, digital producer Julia Broberg. How's it going, Julia?
It's going good. How are you?
All right. Today we're here to talk about the new movie, feature film debut from filmmaker, writer-director Mark Anthony Green, Opus, starring Ayo
Adebri, I think. Don't quote me on that. We should really...
It really is a running gag that we can't pronounce anyone's name.
And I don't like that as a gag.
John Malkovich?
And Murray Bartlett? Yeah, of course.
Maybe if it's an intentional running gag, then we can just hide behind it as a joke, and we never have to learn how to pronounce anyone's names.
But you have the accent to hide behind. I don't have that. That's just me being ignorant and not preparing well.
Right. Okay, Opus. I went into this when I saw this over the weekend. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I heard it was music related, and I actually thought it was a musical.
I kind of had a similar misconception because the person that I was seeing it with was like, yeah, it's like a musical, and I was like a Wicked musical,
yeah.
Or it has music in it, because that's very different.
It's closer
distinction.
to the latter, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of Opus? I guess before we get into any spoilers, we'll give our first thoughts, and we'll give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and then we'll break it down.
No star rating, just a thumbs up, thumbs
or
down.
Or a star rating, whatever.
Okay. I'll give it a star
rating. I can't remember what we did last week.
I think we did stars, I think.
And we did thumbs up. I think we did both, so.
We're just, yeah.
Right.
I think I would give it 2 stars, which feels harsh. I feel like that's mean, but I didn't enjoy it.
That would be a 2-star movie,
it was like, so I saw somebody describe it as, I like the way the meal was served, but I didn't like the food that was on it. Like, I liked the way it was plated, but I didn't like the food itself.
Interesting.
Like, I didn't like the substance of it, but I liked how it looked. And I was engaged, but I don't know. Sorry, nice. You go.
Yeah, I didn't really like how it was served either.
I didn't like the food or how it looked.
No, I think it's a 2-star. I think bad movie is a bit of a stretch. I think your mileage with this movie will vary depending on how worn out you are by this certain type of movie. And I don't want to give too much away, but it is one of those elevated horror movies in the vein of something like The Menu or The Hunt or Ready or Not.
Which we've seen a lot of. You're just listing them off. It's like all of these movies that have been released.
Midsummer. If you're familiar with any of these movies, then you might get a feel for what this movie is. I think mileage will vary depending on how much you enjoy those movies and whether or not you're a little tired of this becoming a bit of a formula. But if I hadn't seen any of those other movies, I think this would rate a lot higher for me, because it really was. It was a fun enough time. It was competently made, and I think my star rating just comes from my own personal burnout from this becoming a bit of a formula that Hollywood is leaning into.
I agree with what you're saying, and I don't think it was a bad movie. I'm just tired of this. I'm tired.
It's not a great impression for our second episode ever that we're tired of the movies.
What a great message for us to send. We're like, welcome to Real Talk. We're tired of this. Do we have to watch another movie after this, man?
We're supposed to be a bit more excited about going to the movies, but
which I am.
I guess we can break it down into more specifics now going into spoilers. So I guess overall, our recommendation, I would possibly recommend it to someone if the general concept sounds interesting to you. Or if you liked any of those other movies, and you won't be upset if you see a bit of a Menu clone.
Yeah.
All right. Getting into spoilers. I do think that this is the plot of the movie essentially is, and it is going to sound like all those other movies, is a group of snobbish people being invited to an eccentric musician's album listening event that he's holding at his...
After his 30-year hiatus.
Right. That he's holding at his ranch...
Commune,
thank you. And
his ranch.
And there is, of course, the one person who is the audience POV character that immediately notices that there's something else going on, something insidious happening behind the scenes. But of course, all of the snobbish characters are too blinded by the cult of personality that this artist has, and they don't heed the sort of words of caution that our main character is trying to share. So that is exactly the menu, or Blink Twice, or from last year, which I actually liked Blink Twice, and I think the difference with this, as a reason that it doesn't get quite as much, doesn't work for me quite as much, is the general concept of these elevated horror movies like this. They sort of invite a type of filmmaking that should be really creative and really bold, I think. Like, you should be going for some really wild swings in terms of, like, the aesthetics and the camera shots, and, like, your actors should be able to play it, like, big for the people in the back, like, you know, go loud. And I think that Opus just sort of coasts the whole movie through. Like we said, competently made, but definitely not show-stopping in any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was, and I enjoyed all of the actors. Like, I enjoyed the performances. I think the main, like, ensemble is great. I think Io, Juliette Lewis, Murray Bartlett, I love all of them, and I think their performance is really good. I just think it sucks that they have to be within this world that has been created and kind of, like, worn out.
I think Io was really, really good. I think her, like, specific brand of sort of self-effacing humor, is that the right way of describing it? Her, like, specific brand of humor works really well as being the odd one out and the POV character. The down-to-earth, more grounded person. She's sort of like the perfect... her type of acting style is perfect for this kind of movie. I didn't so much like Malkovich in this, not because he's bad, because he's an excellent actor. He chews up the scenes where he needs to, especially. But I think he's miscast. I don't necessarily buy him as a pop icon. I could buy him as, like, sort of an erudite creative genius, yes, but, like, there is a scene in the middle when he's playing a song to them.
And he's
and it's supposed to be a funny scene, to be fair. Like, I think it's supposed to be, like, uncomfortable and funny.
But you're also supposed to be able to believe that this was, like, and
exactly.
The scene you're talking about, he's just stomping around like he's doing a marching band thing.
Yeah, he's doing
in
a
bunch of
dance
mirrors.
to he's playing them a track, one of the tracks from his album.
35 millimeter, which is in my Spotify playlist right now. I'll say this right now, on top of everything, all the stuff I'm going to throw at this movie, like critiques, I have all the songs on my Spotify playlist, and I'm blasting them on repeat because they're fun. And
I was surprised, I will say, even though I was just criticizing Malkovich, or the casting of Malkovich, I was surprised that he sings those songs. That's not like...
Oh, yeah. Dina Simone sang.
Because I genuinely, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, they've got some other artist singing for him here. Like, that doesn't sound like Malkovich. That's what I was thinking. And then after the movie, I read, and I was like, what? That was actually him performing all those songs. Like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does have the chops to pull off a pop icon career.
See, because I had the total opposite reaction, because I think Malkovich has such a distinct voice and such a distinct presence as a performer that I totally bought him as a pop, especially like an aging out of relevance, like 30-year hiatus pop star that's coming back. I totally bought it.
You know, I feel like when Mark Anthony Green, like, conceived of this idea, this is going to be my tinfoil hat moment, because I did this last week.
You do?
I have a theory.
You're like, he came out of the editing bay, and I'm like, you weren't there. You weren't there.
For this one, I suspect, because a little bit about the filmmaker Mark Anthony Green, he got his start, or he first had a career as a journalist for GQ, like a style writer, and so that's naturally where people have made comparisons. He has like said like, no, that's not really where the idea came from. But intentional or not, it's hard to believe that he hasn't put himself a little bit into the character of Io and his experience with covering certain celebrities and the cult of celebrity, the whole,
his experience with like parasocial relationships.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. Damn it, I lost my train of thought again.
We'll cut this out.
Yeah, we'll cut this out again. No, but so that's sort of where he got the idea for this film from. But I sort of had a feeling on the page, the way that the John Malkovich's character would read is sort of something more like a Kanye West, like off in Wyoming with his what's the name of his church service that he has that performs like gospel music.
Yeah, I know I know the name's not coming to me.
It's like it's so much of that, of like a very specific kind of musical
Sunday service.
Thank you. Yeah, a musical creative genius that is also like a little crazy
and like so much ego, it's almost like violent, like it's
right.
almost like
right.
a problem,
right?
like danger.
It is a problem. Yeah. Exactly. So I sort of felt like that was something he was maybe more looking for. And granted, this is his first movie. He gets any big name actor he can who can like handle the material. He'll take it.
And John Malkovich
and adjust it. Yeah. Not begrudging at all, but I think that the movie might have worked a little better because as it is, it sort of fuses that kind of genius celebrity with someone like Elton John or something.
Yeah.
Which is not that person.
No. So far as we know.
Yeah, so far as we
Never
know.
met him. Don't know him.
So that's my tinfoil hat theory, is that the original screenplay, the original concept was maybe something a more contemporary artist than what the film ends up doing. Even though I do like the large hiatus and the comeback, and because it does. I mean, we just had this. This is not part of your interest, but we just had Playboi Carti release an album like last week, and there is absolutely a cult fan base of that level that like worships and goes to extreme and very disconcerting lengths.
Just people buying Beyonce tickets recently. The people that are trying to get, which I'm not going to speak because I know some of them personally, so I'm not going to, But I had something that I was going to say. Now I lost my train of thought. I think it's contagious. First, I think we should make you a tinfoil hat that you can put on during the segment and take off.
That's good. Yeah.
Secondly, I feel like you could be interviewing the people that do these movies, and you'd be like, "What did you mean by this?" And they would give you a direct answer, and you'd be like, "I don't think so."
No.
What you really
I have
meant.
a theory.
I have a theory.
I would love to ask these people point blank about my theories and have them just tell me like that is not the case at all.
Wrong. And
you're
like,
so wrong.
And then you're like, nah, that's not right. I'm right.
But we gave it 2 stars. I think the main reason for me, I mean, it's pretty toothless as well as a horror movie. There is one really good, discomforting scene, I think, and that's the beanbag.
When I was
that's good.
I was like, he might have some juice here.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That is like pretty
the
freaky.
wig where she's like, this is really tight. I was like, okay, so I know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think they just stabbed the other guy.
Yeah,
Doesn't
they
Murray
do.
Bartlett just get stabbed?
They do. Not especially creative.
Poor guy. He's like, okay, so how do I die? She comes out of the beanbag chair. Her face is exploding.
Yeah.
Her wig gets ripped off. And they're like, we just stab you in the abdomen multiple times. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And the whole sequence where she's running through the Museum of Moriarty, is it Moriarty? Moretti, thank you.
Dang, man. That's the name in the film. And you're like, were you doing a bit or is that real life?
No, I'm really that bad with names.
I thought he was doing a bit, guys. I was like, good one, I guess. Moriarty? You're talking about Sherlock Holmes,
Sherlock
brother?
Holmes, yeah. Even that, it's a good concept. It's like you could make a fun house of like weird cult memorabilia stuff to this artist, and it doesn't do that at all. It's just an old house that she ends up fighting in the bathroom.
She does see the first guy that gets killed, Bill.
We do see his head
face,
on. We do see his head,
which
on
is
a
Midsommar reminiscent of when they see, the guy's face.
A bit derivative.
Just a bit.
That would be the one word to maybe describe like why this film doesn't click.
But it feels
me.
harsh because I think I'm excited to see where he goes from here,
Okay.
like where Mark Anthony Green goes from here, and what his future projects are going to look like. Because I do think that he's very talented.
He's on the board. He's got
Yes.
something there.
Yep. Again, and it's great. Let's put this in perspective. We're two people that watch movies and sit here and like, he'll definitely make something of
Yeah.
himself. And we're like,
Yeah,
you know.
we've seen.
We're like, we're tired of watching movies, man. So don't listen to us. We don't know anything.
Yeah, no, I think I wish that he had flexed maybe his filmmaking muscles a little bit more, and maybe if he's, you know, it's his first time, like maybe he hasn't sort of found his authorial voice or hasn't figured out how to play it in a bold way like that yet. But if that's the case, then what you really need is you need the substance to back it up. And you said you liked the general like themes of the film. I think you said that in your 2-star review. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so.
Yeah, I did. I always like a movie that makes me think about parasocial relationships in society and people placing value in celebrity more than like more important things that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
That's my tinfoil hat moment where it's like the celebrities distract us from the real issues.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
that's all
just
good
own-
stuff. I think it loses it a little right at the end, which I guess we can talk about since we're in spoilers talk here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that final confrontation, it's really hard not to make the moment of this was all part of the plan. Like, not to make that a little bit of an eye-rolling moment where...
100%. They're sitting in a room
yeah.
for an interview and he's like, and you're like, okay, really?
And it also muddies, like, what their plan is exactly. Like, they wanted to draw attention to their movement, but also they want to be in the shadows so no one knows about them. It's like...
They're like, you're the guy at the ice cream shop. They're like, you're the guy that was a Moretti fan. He's like, no, that's not. I'm just a lowly ice cream scooper, not I.
It's a really, it's convoluted and doesn't quite, like, make entire logical sense. And I had my girlfriend tell me, like, you're being too nitpicky at this point. Like, just... like enjoy the movie, like,
and she's correct.
Yeah, and to an extent she is correct. Like, it is, you know, it's not that kind of movie where it needs to be entirely realistic the whole way through. But it did take me out of the film a little bit, like when things don't entirely make sense like that, or if I can't make some sort of, even if I can't come up with some sort of justification in my head for why things happen the way they happen. So.
Yeah. I'm also now realizing what a nightmare we must be to see movies with, because we're like this derative thing that they're doing, and they're like, just watch the movie and like try to enjoy it. And you're like, no, I have to have some.
Yeah, we are the snobs in the.
No, no, I refuse.
More so in the menu than in this,
Yeah.
because the menu is about like film criticism. This is about other things.
Yeah, couldn't name them, but
Yeah.
it is about things. It's definitely about some other things.
Yeah. Great. I think that's it.
I
Don't
think
have
that's
too much more else to say. I think, we'll stay tuned and keep our eyes peeled for whatever Mark Anthony Green has coming up next. And I agree. Overall, performances were good. Some of the writing was pretty good,
Oh, yeah.
dialogue-wise and things.
Again, performance is great. I liked the cast.
Yeah, filmmaking was serviceable and not much else, and it just didn't have the punches. It didn't have anything special that made you go like, yeah, that was excellent. It was just an okay movie. So 2 stars from both of us. Thank you for tuning in again.
To the Snob Show.
Yeah, to the Snob Show, Real Talk.
We're tired.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
We look forward to what movie we're going to review next week. We haven't decided yet, but
We'll see.
we will see. All right, have a great rest of your week, folks. See you later.